Do your shit one more time, bro. Do your
Just do
shit.
it again. Just do it again.
Yeah. All right.
You ready for shit but a clap this time, right? Cool Theory Media, episode 2, take 1. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
We're a joke.
Oh,
The whole team. just a joke. If I had to rate like level of like, I think you would no, because me and Mick be on bullshit time. I know Mick. Me and Mick be on bullshit.
Y'all do.
But I feel like you and Blaze are more like, which is actually funny because I feel like the dynamic that Blaze and Mick have is kind of the
Like
dynamic me and you.
So it worked.
It worked out. Because me and Mick be on bullshit, but then you and Blaze be like, okay, let's bring it. Yeah.
No, but I be on. See, I have to do that because when I be on bullshit, I be on bullshit, and I don't know how to stop. I'm like a kid for real.
Do other people know when you're on bullshit, or that's something that only you know?
If you know me, you know.
Okay.
If you know me, you know. If you don't know me, you're probably just like, oh, but like Dex will probably
he know you on bullshit.
You gonna learn to know like, oh nah, she on some bullshit. Like, all right.
Yeah, you gonna learn. I'm gonna learn you.
I'm gonna learn you something.
I'm gonna
learn you something. You know what's bullshit though?
What?
Us telling Pete he gotta check in.
No, for real, he gotta check in with Jada.
He gotta check in.
Told me he gotta check in with Jada.
He gotta check in. Once he do that, he's stamped. Like,
no, for real. That's really the last thing on his list of things as far as like really becoming a citizen of Newark. It's like he just gotta check in. He gotta check in with he need to get first he need to get a parking ticket from Newark Police.
Absolutely.
At that
Done.
Done. Okay, so then we already got to
Stamp. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So yeah, all he got left to do is just meet Jada and she.
And he good.
Cause I don't really think it's anything else. Like everything else gonna come along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But he just got to meet Jada and she. Then he'll be alright.
Imagine. I can't wait for that interaction. Like I can't.
Oh no,
wait.
I'm gonna facilitate it.
oh, so we're doing. Oh, we're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna do this.
Real.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a real documented experience.
Wow.
I need to see it for myself. I need to see it. But hey guys, welcome to episode 2. Dos. I don't know how other many ways you could say 2.
Duh. That's French. Duh.
Girl, okay.
You asked.
Welcome to episode Duh.
Don't piss me off.
Of the Cool Theory Podcast. I'm Kia.
I'm Rissy.
And today we're going to be getting into the 80s. Last episode we talked about the 70s and really like blaxploitation and what is blaxploitation, and yeah, you watched it. You watched it. But today we're going to talk about the 80s, but we're not going to talk about it in full. So there might be some things about it in the episode you like, okay, but you didn't cover. Okay, don't. Calm down.
All right.
Calm down. We're going to get to it. But this part really, I mean, we go through it, but I think it really, for the most part, a lot of it is like within a certain time frame, like maybe from like 80 to 85-ish, although for one person, it goes to the end of the 80s. But yeah, we're basically going to get into that today. We filmed our first episode the day of the Oscars, but it was before the Oscars. But now we're after the Oscars.
We're after post-Oscars.
We're post-Oscars. I told you about 4 or 5.
You did. You hit it on the nose with that.
Yeah, I said about 4 or 5. It's just I thought they were going to get casting. I didn't think they were going to get cinematography. So that was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Michael fucking B. Jordan.
Let's
clap it up for a North legend.
Come on now. Come on. He needs a statue now.
No, I mean, I would use this time for sinners, but we have time in the future to discuss that. But I mean, like that, it was just such a dope moment to see Ryan get his Oscar, even though it wasn't the one I wanted him to get. But okay. I mean, I wanted him to get that, but I wanted him to get another one too.
Right.
But it was just dope to see, like, if you've seen their rides together from Fruitvale, even though Michael, been doing it for years, but their rides from Fruitvale till now, I think that, it's beautiful that on the same night they both were rewarded for, their gifts. And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about partnership and what that means. And like, even it's funny, like, because in this 80s episode, like, as I'm sitting here looking at the notes, for the most part, a lot of them did this on their, I don't want to say on their own, because no one ever does anything on their own. But, like, if they were lucky, they had that person.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy had Arsenio Hall, and Michael had Quincy, you know. But for like, or Eric B had Rakim,
Right.
like, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Prince had the Revolution. Ooh, shit, I hope I didn't mess that up. But so I think like there's a beauty in this idea of partnership and what that means. I don't. Maybe it wasn't fully unlocked in the 80s, but I've been thinking about that a lot more. And just about like finding your tribe when it comes to really like working together and pulling something off. And I just, looking at Ryan and Michael, that was just a really dope moment, and seeing that, especially as we're building what we're building. So yeah.
You need that tribe.
Yeah.
And then it's important to have that trust. You know, that's why I text you the other day when I got a little, you know, sentimental or whatever. Because it's like, you know, you trust me. Like, that's so fire.
Yeah.
So
no, you need trust. You do. So yeah, that was just like a really dope moment. I don't think anything else has really happened that we need to talk about in culture, has it?
not recently.
Okay. Well,
Not for the shit that's been going on, but
yeah.
you know, who
On
gives
to
a
know.
fuck? Yeah.
Pay the TSA workers.
Apparently they are about to get paid.
Oh,
so.
okay. So then, yes, collect your checks.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucked up presidents, let's get into.
that was great. That was great.
That was good. Being all week.
Wait.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good.
Oh, okay.
Woo. Because I mean, yeah, we might as well just get into the 80s. So like, I guess we can start off on like this. What was happening in the 80s at the time? And like I was saying, fucked up president to fucked up president. We have the Reagan era.
Reaganomics. That's what my mama called it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, people study that
Yeah.
in school. I actually am reading a book, and I'm saying am reading because I've been reading it for a couple months now because it's such a big fucking book. It's like 800 pages. But it's called Reagan Land.
I've heard of it.
And the guy who wrote it, he has another one called Nixon Land. I think he has another one on Clinton. But Reagan Land is like his biggest one. And it's because he does like a complete full deep dive into the whole Reagan era, Reaganomics, all of that good stuff. And even the documentary, there was a documentary on Stars, or I think it was Stars or Showtime a couple years ago, where they had like, I think like their son like in there. Was that Nixon or was that? No, that was Reagan. They had their son in there, and like they were just talking about the Reagan era and like living through a president like that. It's just so funny, and that came out during Trump's first presidency.
Oh,
and so to see what the Reagan era was like, and then to look at our own times, it's like, you guys really believe in pressing the repeat button, don't you?
I think the Reagan era, I mean, like, we've always lived in two different Americas. Like, black people and white people have always had the two different Americas. But I think with the Reagan era, it really showed the division, because now we got crack in the streets.
Crack was outside. That is true. It was the crack epidemic, yes.
You know, so that whole... It's a lot. I can't.
No, I mean, we could do just a whole podcast episode on like Reagan and the economics of the time, the crack epidemic, and the quote unquote war on drugs. What is it? COINTELPRO? That wasn't him, was it?
Yeah.
When they were infiltrating, it was kind of like the start of the war on drugs. Now we're being like history nerdish.
Yeah.
But now we're being history nerdish. But like. I actually really like history.
I do too.
That's what I'm saying.
I took AP.
I really could do a whole episode on Reagan though. But you get the AIDS crisis, which if I had to put that as the equivalent to anything, I would say like the COVID. Like, I think just the way it was handled, and like even like
mass hysteria.
Yeah, but then also like just the government's response, like being slow to research. Knowing that there's things out there that could help, not testing that, and so now people have to go out on their own and test their medication under markets because you won't pass it at the FDA. And then, you know, having Reagan and his thoughts on just the AIDS epidemic, and it wasn't very empathetic. It wasn't very like, you know, like he cared about his actual citizens. Yeah. And like all I think about is during the COVID era when Trump was like, yeah, just drink. What did he say? Drink
bleach.
Yeah, just drink bleach.
He told the people to drink bleach.
And like, it'll go away. And just his response to people dying. I mean, I know it happened it feels like it happened so long ago, but it really was like just 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
But like I remember the bodies stacked up
Yeah.
in the morgues, you know what I'm saying? And driving past, well, it's no longer East Orange General, but I'll always know it as East Orange General. But driving past there, or even driving past University, and like you see the vans outside because the morgue is so full. Like my uncle died during COVID.
My cousin died during COVID.
Yeah, and like, you know, we're a big family, so we were trying to have a funeral service here, and Cotton's literally told us like, hey, only 8 people can be inside. We like, girl, he got 8 kids, so
right.
like,
right.
And we had to do the service in Atlanta because they were the only ones that would allow us to have people inside. And it's like, if you think about it, it was the same with the AIDS epidemic. Like, I've watched enough documentaries to know about how when people were dying, people would ask, did they die of AIDS? Because if so, we can't embalm them, or they have to be cremated, or, you know, or even our parents, they grew up in the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah, my uncle actually passed away of AIDS. God. He was my favorite uncle, and he passed in 98. So I didn't, you know, like, I was 3 when he passed, so I didn't really understand obviously what AIDS was and what that disease was. But then as I got older, and I was like, oh, he had that shit. Yeah, like people actually like it. And then it's like when you look at it now, it's like AIDS isn't what it was before, because, you know, we have all of these different medications and everything like that. But I just couldn't imagine living in a time like that. I mean, you compared it to COVID, but it was. I can imagine like the hysteria that people had surrounding it, and it's just like. Everybody knows just dropping because of this, and we don't know what it is. We don't know where it came from. Like you said, the government isn't doing anything about it. So that was just a really, really scary time.
Yeah, and I think it was like the stigma that came with it, which
absolutely
was always so weird to me, because the way I see it, it's like it was a natural thing that would have happened or could have happened, in the sense of you have in the 70s, I mean, even in the 60s, right? Because as we've learned from research, AIDS isn't something that just popped up in the 80s. It's a strand that has over time just became bigger and larger and more connected. But like in the 60s, and even in the 70s, you have this free love period where people are just going off to the woods and being with each other in communal styles, and they're, you know, it's free love. And there's also like the disco era, and like there was this feeling of liberation, not just for Black people, not just for Hispanic people, but also for like what would become like the upper yuppie class, where they could feel like, oh, I can go to a club like Studio 54 and hide behind a wig or an outfit or whatever, and like nobody knows what I do in the daytime versus what I do at night. And there became this balance of worlds. And then in the 80s, you just get this virus, and it's like, well, it can be contracted in any different way. Like it's not there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think the stigma of in the early days when they were trying to make it, they literally called it a gay cancer.
A gay cancer, yeah.
So I think to like the stigma of that, that is something that I think really like always sticks in my head with how that was handled. Yeah. Because I think now, unfortunately, I think it's better now, but I still feel like there's a stigma that comes with that. And it started in that 80s era, which is funny to me because so many people that were part of that free love and disco and drugs, you then in the 80s decided, oh, I'm going to get a job and clean up my life and work on Wall Street.
Stand-up citizen.
Yeah, like the rise of the yuppie culture, which is kind of what we're seeing now too, is like everybody wants to be domesticated and kind of go back to this
trad way.
Yeah, type of way of living. It's just funny how
it's the shift to conservatism.
Yeah, which like essentially happened in the 80s, as well as the rise in, you know, consumerism. Yeah. Like you have the creation of malls, you have credit cards, like zooming through. It was an era of overabundance and excess across the board. So it's like these things were always bound to happen.
And it widens class status too. Like you have your lower class, and like not even like below poverty line, and you have the lower class, then you have upper lower class, and then you have middle, then upper middle, and it's just like it just causes more division across the board, whereas like the rich are just going to continue to get richer and the poor are just going to stay poor. Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting, right? Because we were talking about, you know, how all of these social, economic, political aspects then add to our social classes. Yeah. And we really see a prominent rise in the middle class in the 80s.
80s, for sure.
Specifically with Black people as well, which we'll get to when we talk about the Cosby Show. But I think what makes this also interesting is while there were these divides in classes in the 80s, there was also these kind of moments, I'm trying to think of the word, but like kind of these moments where everyone was kind of on one accord.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess we can kick it off with Michael Jackson. Like, Michael Jackson.
Let's give another standing ovation for a young man sitting behind you that you have no idea who's in the audience. Michael Jackson, brother Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson. But I mean, when you think of the 80s, he's one of those people that you instantly think about. I mean,
because he had been a household name.
Yeah.
Since
he was a kid.
He was a kid.
But I think, you know, and we don't have to go super deep into details with like Michael in the 80s. Y'all know Michael. Y'all know what Mike did.
Y'all, if not, y'all finna find out again next month.
Hello, Michael, go see it.
Right.
But I think like he is the epitome of like he touched every class of people, every social, economic, whatever. Like, I mean, I think I can't recall who said it, but they were like at one point, literally every household had a Thriller album. Like it was impossible to, and that was just one. Like, so think about the multiple copies that are in one household. You also have someone like Whitney Houston, who it's interesting because I think we always talk about that moment when she went. I think that was the NAACP Awards. Was that? And she got booed. Was that the NAACP Awards or was that the?
When she not when she accepted her award.
No, Whitney had got booed at an award show. Oh, you never heard about that one? Yeah, so this was like after her second album. I think this was after her I think this was the I'm Your Baby Tonight era. Yes,
was it the Soul Train?
Soul Train Awards.
Soul Train Awards.
Soul Train.
I know
That's
exactly
what
what
I was like, was
about.
it NAACP or Soul Train?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, her getting booed, you know, for being a crossover act. Which kind of goes to your point earlier when you were talking about like Eddie Murphy and like who starts off appealing to crossover and then says, I'm just gonna go straight to the people that I cater to. Like, she was the definite, like she was the music equivalent of that. Funny enough, because rumors they dated, but whatever. But so that's funny. Right. That's interesting. But then you have like Whitney. You have Lionel Richie, who
Lionel
Richie. Who Lionel still is. I think he's more crossover than anything else.
When I think of Lionel Richie, I don't think of us.
I think of, you know what I really think of? I think of Chris Tucker and Rush Hour. Rush Hour when he said, y'all ain't got no black people performing tonight. He said, we got Lionel Richie with no, he said we got the Commodores. Wait, Lionel Richie. He was like, we got Lionel Richie coming to perform next week. He was like, Lionel Richie ain't been black since the Commodores.
Like,
too much air? How come ain't no black people performing in this hotel? We ain't good enough for you people?
We got Lionel Richie performing here tonight.
Lionel Richie ain't been black since the Commodores, man.
That's what I'm saying. When I think of the Commodores, I think of us. When I think of Lionel Richie, I do not.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, that's them niggas. I think of Chris Tucker every time I think of Lionel Richie
because it was so true. It was so true.
Like yeah, he kind of has it. But shout out to Lionel. I'm trying to think of those are, like when I think of black crossover artists, like you could throw Rick James in there, but I think Rick James always maintained a level of like rebellion.
Yeah.
And then of course we could get into Prince, but we're gonna get into him later. But
yeah.
I think when I think of black artists crossing over and appealing to every demographic, those are the people that I usually think of. But also at the same time, you have these niche things that are happening, right? Like you have hip hop that is, I guess, having its first wave.
It is for sure.
Explosion.
Yeah. It's emerging.
Yeah. So we have what came first? Was it Beat Street? Oh, we probably should have put the years next to this, but you do have like the rise of hip hop, like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and you have Run DMC, LL Cool J, Eric B and Rakim, Salt and Pepper. There is that
Houdini.
That golden age of I guess most people. Everybody, there actually was a debate on Twitter about which one is the golden age of hip hop. Is it the 80s or the 90s? I don't get involved in those type of conversations. Yeah. Not that I can't. It's just, why are you comparing two different times? But
2 different times, 2 different types of
music. Like it was completely different vibes. But for a lot of people who were there and grew up with it, you know, the 80s is for them a golden age of hip hop, because it's the first time you're really starting to see. I mean, I don't want to say that. It is the first time in retrospect. But it's the first time you're seeing hip hop on a not yet mainstream, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like they didn't take it as seriously as they do now, but it's like, all right, let me give these niggas a chance. Like, let me see what's up, you know, because now we're on TV. We have Yo MTV Raps, you know, and it's becoming, it's not so much of a niche thing as it was like, if you knew hip hop, it was because you lived on the East Coast type shit. Right. Whereas now it's like, okay, we're going to broaden the demographic.
Yeah, we got West Coast rap. Like, we got, of course, I think every area probably had their rap going on. For sure. But by the 80s, I think it was mainly just like, well, no, because you had the South. Like, because like Uncle Luke by the late 80s.
That's true.
Is like emerging. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was the beauty of a brand new genre. It's the newest genre that we've had, you know, in our American culture. So that, I think, was really dope to witness a genre be born that people already thought was a trend. Like, oh, this shit is only going to be here for a minute and then it'll go. And so in retros, you know, in hindsight, to see what it has become.
Now.
It's crazy. Like, I can imagine what it was like at that time, witnessing that happening.
Like, it makes sense why they say that's the golden age.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because they were doing things that quite literally had never been done before. So, like, I think that was dope. And then also, like, they were breaking into cinema, too. Like, you got Beat Street, you got The Last Dragon, Breaking, Crush Groove.
Yeah.
I've only seen Beat Street and Crush Groove. I have not seen The Last.
Breaking.
Really?
I love breaking because, you know, I danced for a while, so it was like watching that. Then I see like the moonwalk, and I'm like, oh, this is what, like, people think that Michael Jackson came up with the moonwalk. No, he got that from the breakdancers.
No, that didn't happen
from the movie. And then like the iconic broom scene. Yeah, like, you know, that shit, like, it's really cool. Yeah. I love breaking.
I think the hip hop movies from that time were cool too, because like they were also experimenting with a new format. Like a lot of these things were just being newly accessible to us, like filmmaking. And granted, accessibility is how you want to define it, but like for me, accessibility means anybody can have access to it. But I think that was the first time you're seeing a demographic of people who don't usually, you know, it's more involved as far as to try to create something. So I think that was just also a dope time for hip hop as well. See, I would like to much rather talk about Public Enemy and KRS-One and NWA next episode. Yeah, because that's more politically charged with like Spike. And that's what,
it's all encompassing.
But we do have that, like, music was becoming more electronic, more synthesizers, more drum machines. It's becoming more expansive, which the whole era in itself was becoming more expansive. Right. Sports was actually being televised, and you get some guy by the name of Michael Jordan, who completely redefined. I mean, so many people have redefined basketball, but it's MJ. Like,
can't argue with that.
Yeah, and even on TV, you have Arsenio Hall on late night towards the you know, end of the 80s, and then you have Oprah, who Oprah is just Oprah. So
like, do we really need to?
Oprah is Oprah. So there was this like rise of culture that was happening at the time, at least on TV and in music. What was happening in Newark at the time?
Zanzibar and Shanique's.
Spinning around in circles.
That's what, like, I literally texted my mom. I said, "Ma, like, what was happening in Newark in the 80s? Like, what was some important things?" And I'm thinking she's gonna tell me some socioeconomic shit, some political shit. She said Zanzibar. I said, "Oh,
Zanzibar."
I mean, drugs. Like, I knew that, but like nothing. She's like, "No,
Zanzibar. And drugs." Well, Sharp James did become the mayor.
Sharp James did become the mayor. Shout out to Sharp James.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
But
Zanzibar
and Shanique's. Those were in all the other little spots. Like, that was what was going on in urban crime and decay. Which, it's fucked, but I think it's beautiful to lay that landscape, because, like, we're sitting on Halsey right now, and the city's being built up. So it's interesting to see where we were and where we're going. We're in a sense, we're also documenting our home while we're documenting like what was going on.
We have to,
yeah, because it's all one in one, really. So some movies that were out in the 80s, just so you know what these films that we're going to talk about were going up against. We have Scarface in 83, Full Metal Jacket in 87, Back to the Future in 85, Stand By Me 86, E.T. 1982, Raging Bull 1980. You have the John Hughes films that ranged throughout the 80s, like 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller, The Breakfast Club, Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 82, Raiders of the Lost Ark in 81, Poltergeist in 82, Ghostbusters in 84, which, by the way, Bobby Brown has an amazing, like, Well, I guess. Oh,
That's a great song.
That's
A great
too
song.
hot to handle. Too cold. They call the police. This isn't any control.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. Blues Brothers in 1980. Caddyshack in 1980. I said Flashback. It should have been Flashdance.
I'm like, what's
it was like Flashback. Flashdance in 83. Return of the Jedi in 83. Colors.
Ooh, not me.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. Colors in 88. Blade Runner in 82. Little Shop of Horrors in 86. A Nightmare on Elm Street in 84. And Terminator in 84.
And that's just some.
That's just some of the films that we
didn't even put everything.
Damn, niggas always had to go up against some shit.
Like we could never just be fucking great, bro.
Like Terminator?
They say, yeah, y'all ain't doing that blaxploitation shit no more. They said, try it if you
Not
want.
on my watch.
Try it if you want.
Like E.T., nigga?
Like, what was we?
That's crazy.
All right. Like, y'all got it, bro.
Y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it.
Y'all got it. Like, I don't want no sauce,
I don't want
bro.
no problems. So that was the landscape of what was happening at the time. Do you want me to sum up the Cosby Show in Miami Vice thing?
You can.
Because I feel like we can wrap that up in 2.5. So
real easy.
We decided to pick 2 TV shows and then 3 films?
Yeah. No, we have 4.
One of them we really don't care that. Well,
Yeah.
a couple of them we don't care that.
Yeah.
So we picked those to analyze, and we really picked it based off of some main aspects. One, like accessibility, as far as like the reach, or, you know, was it niche? Was it mainstream? The second one was profitability. How profitable were these films, and who were they profitable to? And then third was cultural impact. So the first thing that we have as far as TV is the Cosby Show. I think it goes without saying, like, so fun fact, I actually never watched the Cosby Show prior to us preparing for this episode. Have I had it on TV with Nick at night when I was going to sleep? Sure. Or when I'm getting high? Sure. But like, I've never actually sat down and watched the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
But for this, I was told to watch that happy
Just at least, yeah. Just that episode.
I'm sold to watch the happy anniversary episode, which is the episode that even if you've never watched the show, I'm sure you've seen the scene, and it's when they're singing Ray Charles' "Nighttime Is the Right Time," and that's Keisha Knight Pulliam talking about some, which she from North, yeah, talking about some baby.
That's what she like.
See, you know the facial expressions. Like,
That was my shit.
no, that was your shit. So I watched that episode, and I mean, I understand what the Cosby Show meant at the time. Like, you know, a middle-class black family where they are successful, and their success, unlike the blaxploitation films of the 70s, doesn't come from drug dealing or pimping. Right. It comes from having an actual job.
Right. Niggas is doctors.
Niggas is doctors, okay?
That own a brownstone.
Yeah, and wasn't his doctor's office was downstairs?
Downstairs. Yeah.
And wasn't he a gynecologist? Gotta love the 80s, man. But anyway, I watched the episode. And I think what I took away from that one episode that I watched is that, and we were examining this, there were black TV shows on TV at the time, but not as many as there were in the 70s. And I think that, and so, you know, some of them were more niche, like they was for the niggas, strictly for the niggas. But then you have ones like the Cosby Show that completely break the mold, and they become like iconic in just American pop culture. Yeah. And I think that it was a reflection of society that could be aspirational for black people. I think what makes that scene so genius, and this is something that we discussed, was the fact that, like, you know, understanding your audience well enough to give them something so generational, because that scene of them, you know, their grandparents are coming into town, they're celebrating their anniversary, the kids put on a performance. It's very simple. Like, it's not some drawn out, exaggerated concept, and you have 30 minutes to really capture your crowd and get them
execute
in.
It, yeah.
And I think it's so well done, because it's something that if you're, I don't even want to say if you're black, because it probably happens in all families, but if you're a kid growing up in a large family, you know what that's like when your grandmother or your aunt or your mom is like, hey, come do that dance,
little dance you be doing.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and it's just like, it's one of those moments where you can relate to it, but it's also like, oh my God, look at this beautiful house, and look at this beautiful big family, and like they're all together and they're celebrating their grandparents' anniversary. Think about how many black kids at that time probably didn't even know their grandparents, or they only knew their grandmom. They didn't know, you know, like, so I think that was just beautiful in itself, to see this happily married, successful couple and their kids, and them celebrating these grandparents who have been married for so long. I can see how that was aspirational to a middle or even lower class, you know, crew of like group of black people.
Yeah, because then it even like raises the question, how do you come up with the idea to have something be generational like that? Like, how do you do that and then be able to execute it, like you said, in that short amount of time? Because like you said, people may have not watched the Cosby Show like you didn't, but they know that episode, or they've seen that particular clip, and it's like, how do you manage to do that? And I think that's something that's like super important when we talk about the Cosby Show.
Bill, you bitch.
Oh, you raggedy bitch.
You
raggedy bitch.
And it's fucked, because I don't know if that was the other thing too. It wasn't, I don't want to say hard, but like, I remember at one point the Cosby Show used to be on multiple streaming platforms. Was all, and even when I had to look it up, I had to watch it on something with a P, but like I had to watch it on there. Oh, I think Apple TV had it, but no, it wasn't Pluto. I forgot what thing. It was like an online thing I watched it on, but like. It was just it's unfortunate, you know, the actions during, after, you know, when whatever things are revealed, and it kind of taints the legacy of something. But I guess that's when they say you separate the art from the artist and all that bullshit.
Which is a whole separate.
And then you have Miami Vice, which I watched the pilot episode. I also wanted to watch it because rumor has it Michael B. Jordan might be in the Miami Vice remake.
Yes, and he's asking for how much?
They say allegedly 18 million, but who gives a fuck? Yesterday's price.
It's not today's price.
It's not today's price,
money.
Nigga. Like,
that his money.
Come
Stop
on,
playing.
son. And to be honest with you, he should be asking for more. So I watched the pilot episode, which that's the episode where they're driving down Miami Ocean Ave, listening to Phil Collins in the air tonight. And it led us to a conversation about MTV, and just how, like, because there's nothing really, I don't want to say there's nothing special about Miami Vice, but I think what makes Miami Vice so cool for those who were there at that time was just how aspirational it was. It looked cool. It looked fly. I think it really helped introduce needle drops in TV shows, like taking a real actual song and placing it in this like aesthetically pleasing moment, you know, especially when television was becoming more cinematic. And you also at the same time have the rise of 24-hour TV. So now cable is now 24/7. You have CNN that gets created in the 80s. You have BET that gets created in the 80s. But you also have MTV that gets created in the 80s. And of course, MTV has their racial problems and what they will show and what they won't show. But I think that music video rise inspired things like a Miami Vice that were very artsy and more aesthetically pleasing for the viewer.
And just added to the overall cinematography of everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I can see why at that time that shit was seen as like special. Like I can see why at that time it looked like some fly shit.
And then it's like when you've actually been to Miami and
you
you're
understand
on Ocean Drive, it's like
you understand
I get it, because you know the weather, the palm trees, you got the restaurants, the girls.
It's sexy.
Yeah,
it
makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So toward the end of the decade.
Yes.
You know, things start to shift from that whole family fun type of thing. So now we're talking about the real shit.
Yeah.
So we have like the introduction of like your hood movies, like your hood classics. That's literally what it's called, your hood classics. And one of the first ones that we looked at, and I'm pretty sure we've all have seen, if you're from Jersey, you've seen it, Lean on Me, which takes place when you're lost. Shout out to Bill Withers, you know.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Shout out to him. It takes place at Eastside High in Patterson. Mr. Clark is the principal, and he's basically trying to get these rowdy ass kids on their shit. Like, they're wilding. They're in the school doing drugs. They're fighting. They're having sex. They're just like, you think about all the things that can go wrong in a high school.
They were going.
They were doing it. But Mr. Clark said, you know what? We're not doing none of that. We putting chains on the doors. Everybody studying. We put chains on the doors. Nobody coming in or out of this bitch. Okay, you cannot go anywhere. You're gonna be in there studying because there's no way our test scores are what they are. You know.
And them test scores was like
they were bad. They were bad. So like when I think about Lean on Me, I think about scenes like when he had the boys singing the school the song in the bathroom.
Yes, sir. All right then, school song. Let me hear it.
All right, fellas, let them hear it.
Fair East Side. Fair East Side. Fair East Side. By thy side will stand and always praise thy name. Praise thy name, praise thy name.
And then, you know, telling Kanisha's mother that she was a bad parent because why is her daughter pregnant at 15, you know? And it's just so interesting that these types of movies became a thing because it was relatable and it was an exact depiction of what a lot of black people's lives were like the Cosby Show. It was real, but it was almost like it was selling you a dream a little bit too. Like, oh, everybody can just be a doctor and own a brownstone in Brooklyn, and it's like everybody can just go to Hillman. No, they can't. No,
actually, they won't.
They won't. This is what's going on right now. And then I feel like if you look at it from an aspect of like Jersey, right?
Some Jersey shit.
It's some Jersey shit. And then we kind of started thinking about all the other movies and films that took place in Jersey, and it's like we got New Jersey Drive.
Yeah, we got, and then you even go to the white side of The Sopranos.
The Sopranos. It's like, damn, how y'all see us?
Shooters.
Like
straight shooters.
That's straight shooters, you know. But what's interesting about the movie is it had a budget of $10 million, and then it grossed $31.9 million.
Niggas wanted to see some nigga shit.
They wanted to see it.
Yeah.
They wanted to see it. So I've always wondered, like, I wonder what that was like to have something like the Cosby Show, and then you see something come out like that juxtaposition. It's polar opposites.
Yeah.
Complete polar opposites. And I don't know. I wonder because the NAACP always got some shit to say. They always got some shit to say. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure they love the Cosby Show and hated Lean on Me.
Right.
But
to each his own.
To each his own. To each his own.
So before Lean on Me, which I love that you handled that because I just don't know where I would have with Lean on Me. But before Lean on Me in '84, we get a film that was kind of like a little unconventional.
I think that's an understatement.
That's an extreme understatement. Probably very unintentionally funny.
For sure.
But to me, I think it's one of the great musician to Hollywood type of collaborations, and that's Purple Rain. So I think what I love about Purple Rain is just the whole story about it, the whole feeling of it. Carvel Wallace wrote for Pitchfork about Purple Rain. The black kid from the Midwest had managed to become the most accurate expression we had of young America's overabundance of angst, love, horniness, recklessness, idealism, and hope. And when I think of Purple Rain, that's really what I think about. Like, the performance scenes are so iconic and they feel lived in and real. Even the scenes where he's backstage and he's walking and like he sees Morris Day and they're headed to the room and they're laughing at him. Shout out to Morris Day.
Think about the dance, bro. That's my shit.
No, for real, that's my shit too. It feels like you're really watching two artists who are rising because, again, in the movie, they're not Prince and Morris Day. They're literally artists. That are local trying to rise.
Yeah.
Which I think makes it even more funny because we're looking at them as Morris Day and Prince, but they're playing. They're trying to be meta in a way that really wasn't meta yet.
They tried. Like, we get what you were going for.
But yeah. But like, I think some scenes that always crack me up is like the lake. I can never pronounce the lake, but Lake Montauk. Yeah, whatever. Like,
Montauk.
Yeah, like who are you to tell somebody to get in the lake? Like, get your little short ass in the lake.
And he was dead ass.
No, like really, like get in the lake. Like, no, I'm not even kidding with you.
Get in the lake.
Like, get in the lake. Get in the lake. get in the lake.
No, because if he did that, I probably would have gotten that lake. Like,
you know what? I actually get in the lake.
I get in the lake.
And then we were talking about the scene where he was fighting his dad. Which
get off of her.
Get off of her. Get off of her. You know, it's just like the acting is bad. But it's such a fucking great movie. And I think it's because, I mean, and then you think about the soundtrack that fucking went with it. And just him winning an Oscar for that shit. Like,
and 2 Grammys.
Like, come on. You know, like, I think that without Purple Rain, you don't get things like a Lemonade or just, even if it's not that serious, just this idea of artists who, or even what Charlie XCX just did recently, where she took the Brat era and turned it into like this
a whole thing.
Yeah, meta documentary type of thing. I think that idea of mythologizing yourself, I think that's the beauty of Purple Rain. And I think it mixes celebrity culture, black culture, youth, youth, like the youth of America, and music, and it kind of tidies it all up into a bow. And I think Purple Rain is like,
the way you put that.
Yeah. But then a year after Purple Rain, we get
The Color Purple.
Yeah, one of the most, to me, I think is one of the most iconic films. What's funny though, and I found this out, I think Rashida Jones had posted this on Instagram. You know, he has a daughter, Kadada.
Yeah.
She's that's where the my Kadada come from, is you're saying
Oh,
Kadada.
I did hear that.
Yeah. So I always thought that was sweet. That was really Quincy
cute.
did that.
Okay.
Oh, that's sweet. But little info in case you don't know. But The Color Purple, the 1985 version, it is based on the Alice Walker book, the iconic Alice Walker book. Directed by Steven Spielberg. The film was produced by Quincy Jones, but also the soundtrack was produced by Quincy Jones, which gave us like one of the greatest, to me, like cinema moments is like God is trying to tell you something. That whole scene of like her hearing the church from across the pond, which even in itself is like this idea between religion and secular that was happening at that time in the South. And you know, Suge was kind of the outcast, and she was a different type of woman for that time. And so her hearing the church in a distance and still knowing she could come back home. Steven, they might have got on you in the 80s, but you killed that shit. You ate
really
that
did.
one.
Ate that up.
He ate that the fuck up. Also, an iconic fucking cast.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from top to bottom, like just complete a black. I mean, like at that time, shit, all you was missing was Denzel. Literally. Just an amazing cast. Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey,
Donald Glover.
Yeah. Like I just like the range of the cast and how everyone played their role. I really hated Mr.
Real bad.
Like, I wanted to slap the shit out of Miss. I wanted to cut him too, Celie. I wanted to cut him
I hated
too.
all the men in that movie.
They were just all horrible.
Because I hated Harpo too. He just dumb.
All the men in that
dumb.
movie, and I mean the NAACP also found the NAACP, as you will notice throughout the podcast, has an issue with a lot of things, and they also had an issue with The Color Purple and the way they portrayed the men in the film, although it was real.
It was
honest.
an accurate depiction, if you ask me. Like, all right.
I mean, it even pissed James Baldwin off. He had some comments to say,
Which was actually shocking.
It's not.
When you think about it.
It's not.
It's not. Yeah, never mind.
It's not.
I'll take it back.
But also a lot of people just didn't think Steven did the film any real justice. Not to mention they got 11 Oscar nominations and went home with 0. But I think what makes the film so beautiful and why it's aged so well is just like all the different dynamics that go into it. First of all, it's fucking iconic and quotable as hell.
You told Harpo to beat me. All my life I had to fight.
Until you do right by me. Everything
The fucking fingers take me out. It's some power. You feel that?
No, like, because really, if somebody do this to me, I'm like, whoa.
Oh, all right. You got it.
I do that to my dog. I'll be like, until you do right by me.
I'll start
so.
doing that to sit your ass.
Sit your ass. But also, like, seeing Black lesbianism in cinema, that's something that Steven Spielberg always kind of regretted. He felt like he really didn't, like, capture the dynamic and the nuances of that Celie and Suge relationship well. But, I mean, yeah, sure. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yeah. But I think what you do get, it's a step in the right direction.
For sure.
Depending on who you ask.
I agree.
What do you think about The Color Purple?
It's actually one of my favorite movies.
Same.
It's become actually, I won't even say it's one of my favorite movies. It's become a comfort movie for me.
Yeah.
It's something I can watch over and over and not get bored of it, not get tired of it. It's like a quotable. And then when we read the book in the 8th grade, it kind of like solidified its impact for me, because I had seen the movie plenty of times before I even read the book. So like once I read the book, I was like, oh wow, no, this is something. And I just loved the character Celie, because you see her grow throughout the movie. You see her being this scared, timid little girl, and then this scared, timid woman, and then it's like now she's a full-grown woman and she has this power. And it was just really inspiring to see the way that the character development of her specifically. And then like like you said, there are some hilarious moments in the movie, like when what was Oprah's name in the freaking movie?
And it's at the top of my brain.
What was her name?
It's literally at the top of my brain.
I can't. Wow.
I can't remember it.
I can't remember her name.
Now.
But it's like when she beat Harpo up.
Yeah, beat his ass.
Like beat his ass.
And she was so strong-willed that they basically had to traumatize her into being like. But she sat at that table when Celie said, she was like, "Nah, Miss Celie, nah, Miss Celie, do your thing, Miss Celie, fuck him up, Miss Celie." like her thoughts kind of came back for a second. Oh, fuck him up.
You feel me?
Yeah, and then Squeak.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Squeak.
Yeah, Squeak was. Like,
I forgot.
I'm gonna leave with y'all. Like Squeak. Squeak. Sit your ass down,
Squeak.
Yeah, no, it's a great film.
Yeah,
like I definitely a precursor to like a Sinner or Eve's Bayou. You know,
you did say that it reminds you of Eve's Bayou.
Yeah.
And I think just like the cinematography of it is really beautiful too. Like the scene where Nettie and Celie see each other and they're just running across the field. Yeah.
Even the scenes of what takes place in Africa.
Yeah.
The
sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or even like the sky. And I think that's why I said Sinners, because the sky. I keep thinking about the way the southern sky feels. It feels so spacious and like open. Like at any moment it can rain or it can shine.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the symbolism of their life too.
Yeah, like because even when you think about The Color Purple, you see The Color Purple in the field.
Yeah.
When they're running through. And I think in the last scene where Celie was leaving, she had on a purple dress.
Yeah.
You know, so it's little things like that where it's just like, this is really
Steven,
cool.
you ate that. Don't let them play with you.
He did that. So after the Coming to America, after the Beverly Hills Cop, the stand-ups, you then get a little movie called Harlem Nights, which this is for the niggas.
This is for the niggas.
And it has an all-star cast. So you have Eddie Murphy, you have Richard Pryor, you have Della Reese, you have Red Fox. Arsenio was in it.
Yeah.
Jasmine Guy. Like, the list goes on and on.
Jasmine Guy.
Yeah. Yeah. The list goes on and on and on. And it's him basically paying homage to his heroes. So the people that he looked up to, he's now being able to work with them, such as Red Fox and Richard Pryor. Eddie Murphy wrote and directed this film, his only one to date. And it's so funny because the movie was actually hated.
Yeah.
By like a lot of people.
Yeah. They told him to never direct again.
We were talking about it earlier. I've only ever heard of the movie being talked about amongst black spaces, in black spaces. I've never heard it talked about anywhere else.
Me neither.
Anywhere else. And it's crazy because the budget for the movie was $3 million, but then it grossed 60.8. So it was like y'all was watching the shit.
Somebody came to see that
movie. Came to see that movie, you know? But there's so many different iconic and interesting scenes, like specifically the Vera and Vernus fight.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Vera. Don't you want to talk about that?
I ain't got nothing to say. You done insulted me, and I got to kick your ass right now. And afterwards, I don't want no hard feelings either.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Ain't nothing wrong with me. What the fuck is wrong with you? You done accused me of stealing. The only thing I'm stealing out here today is your face.
With that, you know, that, and then Red Fox with the glasses. That's like,
because why I just visualize that shit in
like
my
with the freaking glasses, you know. And then something that I pointed out that was very interesting about the movie was that it took place during the Harlem Renaissance, like the tail end of the Harlem Renaissance. So it's like, here it is, we have this movie star depicting a time where black people were coming into their own, they were writing their own stories, and this was for us kind of thing. And it kind of made me think like, was the 80s maybe the start of like the Harlem Renaissance, and like black people telling our stories and owning the things that we weren't able to have before, kind of like how we preface with the blaxploitation thing.
Yeah.
You know, so then it kind of made me just think about ownership as a whole. And one of the things that I thought about was MTV, because the MTV first premiered August 1st, 1981.
Yeah.
And then now you look at MTV today, nobody cares about MTV. And it's like, well, what happened to MTV? They stopped playing music videos. Part of the reason why they stopped playing music videos is because they weren't owning the music. Yeah. You know, so it's like with the 80s, black people were now demanding that money. It was like, they were on some sweetback shit. Like, I'm coming for my shit. I'm coming. And it's like, we were starting to understand the business instead of just being part of it. Like, because we talked about earlier with Michael Jackson and how he bought the publishing, the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles catalog, yeah.
The Beatles catalog. And before, he was just in the game. He didn't really know about any of this stuff. So now we have people like him and then Eddie Murphy. And it's like, black people were like, nah, I need my reparations.
I need my shit.
I need my shit.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's always a dreamer, and I think every generation has a group of creative dreamers. It's just what they do with that, the knowledge of the past, and then what they're dealing with in their present. And I think at the time, whether it was in music, whether it was in sports, whether it was in pop culture, whether it was in cinema, you see these black people who want ownership. They want their logos, they want their brand deals, they want their partnerships, they want what they're owed. Yeah. And we were trying to think of like references and things of the 80s. And of course it's like Busta Rhymes, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See. Yeah. That's coming to America. Or even like The Ice Cream Man is coming from Raekwon's Ice Cream is from Eddie Murphy's Delirious. Or the Pastor Courvoisier video, that's from Harlem Nights. Or even that whole genre of films that are like Sister Act and Freedom Riders and Coach Carter and The Great Debaters that like follow on that Lean On Me path. The Color Purple was like kind of hated on when it came out, but then it became a Broadway musical. It became another Oscar-nominated film. I think, or even Miami Vice, like, granted, I don't know how much that really impacted the niggas, but for it to be a cop drama that featured one black lead, that opening scene has been referenced and remade. Like, the first reference I thought it was like the Notorious B.I.G. car scene in Hypnotized when him and Puffer, riding through. And Or even like how Purple Rain and even Thriller in a sense inspired My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Lemonade and more experimental projects like that. Drake's Hold On We're Going Home is inspired by Miami Vice. So, or even the Cosby Show, like that gave us kind of The Family Matters and My Wife and Kids and Are We There Yet? So I think the impact of the 80s is more about capitalism, consumerism, and who gets the bag. Niggas was just trying to get paid in full, and I get it.
Paid in full.
Niggas was just trying to get their money.
Thinking of a master plan.
Which really was the 80s. It was.
plan.
Everyone who was doing something was quite literally just thinking of a master plan.
And it worked for some.
It worked.
It worked for Eddie Murphy.
It did.
It worked.
It worked.
It worked for Michael. It worked for Prince.
It did.
It worked.
It did. No.
You know? You feel me? So.
Yeah. That was a good episode.
I think so.
That was cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
Now we get nerdy next.